everybody. Welcome back to Embrace the Journey with Sharon. My guest today is Kathya Suchan, and I'm so grateful that she's here. I feel like I've manifested her. We're going to talk today a little bit about her journey and what's brought her to where she is at in her life right now. One thing that we've recognized, she's a coach as well, and one thing that we recognize a lot of times is that people feel they're alone, or that somehow we haven't had a story. And everybody has a story. I can't tell you anybody in my life that doesn't have some sort of impactful story. And one of the things that we've both learned to help us to move in the direction that we want with our lives is a tool called vision boards. Yes. And so we are going to delve into that today, because this is a very, very cool tool for everybody to use. Famous people use it. I was actually really surprised. I watched a show on Oprah not too long ago, and she didn't have a vision board.
She didn't have one? Because I know that she's talked about them before.
She does now.
Yep.
But at this point, this was a couple of years ago, she didn't have one.
It's new to her.
Yeah. She did have stuff written down, though. And so that's another way of doing it. This is just a more visual way. And it's fun. It's really, really fun to go back and look at it. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about you, your journey, where you've been, where are you, what brought you to where you are now. And
okay. Well, Sharon said, I do have a story as well. I grew up in the Midwest, and I grew up in a household where I wasn't, given a lot of, congratulations. And so, I wasn't able to really see the positive things easily. And when I was in college, I moved away. I went to Colorado. Mm-hmm. And while I was in Colorado, I started realizing that I loved my life. Everything that was happening to me was just incredible. I'm like, what's so different now here than it was there? And it was simply because I just let my mind just be open to so many things. And I was just thinking of things as take them as they come. And I wasn't allowing myself and putting limiting beliefs on myself.
Now, is that something that you found in your family life? Because I know our parents' generation and the parents before that, many of them, I feel, had more of a closed mind than our society does now. It keeps opening, thank God.
Yeah, my parents definitely came from a closed mind. They want everything to be safe, which is understandable. That's what they grew up with, and that's what they want us to be. They want us to be safe and happy. But it was restricting me in a way that I didn't know that it was restricting me.
And I think one of the things that I think is that we are born into families to expand the family.
Right.
Our spirit is there to take what it is that they know and expand it if we find the courage to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I know that just watching my own growth, my parents are starting to be like, wow, she's really, into her own self now. And so my sisters see it, my brother sees it, and hopefully, they can get on board and grow as well in their own little way.
Yeah.
However that means.
Yeah. And that's another thing I think a lot of us want for our family and our friends and the people that we work with. And the one thing that I think I've learned, and sometimes I still need to knock my head, is that everybody has their own lesson.
Right.
And that the best thing that I can do is live it.
Yeah.
And other people will see it.
Right.
That's the best way of sharing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because people, when you start showing that you're not, you're living freely and you're not worrying and you're just letting things come by and you're learning your lessons instead of staying in them as a victim, they're like, wow, I really want to be like that. And how is she just so gracefully living this? And
it's not always graceful. For me, I'll speak for me. It's not always graceful. But there are laws. We both believe in the laws of the universe. And one of them that I look at a lot is cause and effect. I love that the little balls, the little silver balls, when you hit this one, it goes through 5 and it moves the other one. And I'm conscious of that now. I'm conscious, especially with what I do, that what I do here sets a ripple effect.
Yes. And you may not always see it, but you always know that somehow it's causing some kind of ripple effect, and it's spreading starting out there.
Yeah, and universal timing, letting go of that. And that's something that ties into the vision boards that we're going to talk to today. And I've also noticed that in my coaching that, sometimes I'll get done with a session and people will leave and I'm like, I don't know if that landed well. And 3 weeks later, I'll get a call or a text or something or an email and going, I was in the shower and bing, you know what I mean? So it's not,
sense.
It's not our timing. It's our actions, but it's not necessarily our timing. Yeah.
That's absolutely
Thank
true.
God for that too, right? Because I don't know. That was one thing I did have to work on though, is being more patient with me and the desires that I have. And I think that's, again, something that ties into the vision board.
Absolutely. Yeah.
A lot of people actually give up or say, it didn't happen or this, that, or the other thing. And I think both you and I have had experiences that kind of will help to share with you that give it the time.
Right.
Give it the time.
And that is one of the laws of gestation, is that everything happens at its precise moment. It may not be when you want it to happen, but it will happen. And so you need to plant the seed, if you will, and it'll come when the timing is right.
Yeah. So you're in Colorado and you've planted the seed and
I
you
planted
start
the seed.
expanding
I
your
started
mind.
expanding, and this is probably when I started realizing that I have the right to live the life that I want to live, and not continue to just waking up and feeling that I'm a part of this massive universe and it's all happening to me, where I just realized, wow, I can actually do something about this. And so I started reading up on vision boards, and not specifically vision boards at the time, but just on personal development. And one of the things that came up were vision boards, and I'm like, wow, that's so powerful, and it seems simple. I'm going to try this, and that's where my awakening was.
Do you remember who might have been the inspiration for that? What book you were reading, or?
I started strong, a little bit more strong with it once The Secret came out. And then, reading the whole John Assaraf story of how he manifested a lot of things by using vision boards. And
Bob Proctor.
Yes, Bob Proctor, who's huge in all of this. And so I started, I'm like, I'm going to create a vision board. But I just created something that was so simple, and it didn't have pictures. It was just something that, more like a journal, and on a little 8x10 piece of paper, what I wanted to accomplish. And
did you find that you were afraid to think big?
I was definitely afraid to think big.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the belief of
because of where you came from.
Right.
How could I?
Right.
Who am I to think
deserve
this
all
big?
that and think that big? Exactly.
Until you started surrounding yourself with the readings of other people who have come from similar places
or worse,
and
they've done tremendous.
Yeah.
I'm like, that can happen to all of us.
Yeah.
We just have to believe it in ourselves that it can happen.
So how do you start to do that? How do you start to believe in, you started writing it down, and what things started happening?
Well, you definitely have to make it a point to do this every single day. I started with affirmations, and you need to put it in your face, in a mirror, in a wall. Right now, my current vision board is at my wall in the office that I'm in working, because that's where I spend most of my days. And you start repeating things to yourself over and over and over, and you let the little limiting beliefs or the negative words just kind of fade away. And it takes time. It definitely takes time. But you slowly start realizing, you start meeting people that are in the same, like-minded people that are in your community, and you start growing that way.
Yeah. I think Bob Proctor says it too, related to, he's got the vision board, which he believes in, but he, like you said, writes it down. And that's something that I've learned from him, is it's not just carrying it or having it visually in front of me, but actually carrying it with me.
Right.
He has a
Have it
little
in your
card.
Pocket, your purse.
Yep, and he pulls it out and he says, read it in the morning, read it in the afternoon, read it at nighttime. And I think that gratitude and appreciation ties, that for me is the key. That I need to come from a place of gratitude for where I am now, for what I have now.
Absolutely, yeah.
In order for what I want and what I see for myself to show back up.
Right.
Another
Right.
law.
And that is, something that some people don't realize is what you really give out is what you're going to get back. So you want to give out the good stuff, and you want to be thankful for what you already have so that you get more of that.
Yeah.
And that's something to not really, it's difficult to understand if you haven't been aware of all of this. And so, it does take time. And a lot of people fail to meet dreams because they give up, and they fail to continually do this as a, something that becomes a habit.
Yeah, I think we fail to believe.
Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing. You just forget. You're like, oh, what is this? This sounds funny, and you just fail. You just fail to believe all that.
Yeah.
And it's the biggest thing. You have to have the courage to know that it's out there, and that the unseen will manifest into physical form.
Mm-hmm.
And just give it all you've got. Give it all you've got.
Yeah, and it is the courage.
Right. And the thing is that once you believe that you have, that you can have the courage and have the ability to manifest anything that you want, your life is just going to start changing. And it doesn't have to be big steps right away. Just the little changes in your everyday beliefs. You're going to see huge, remarkable changes by the end of the year even. And so that's what we're going to talk about when we do vision boards. Is there's long term, there's short term, and these will change. These dreams that you have, they will change as you begin to change and become more aware of who you truly are.
Yes. So this tool that we're going to share with you today is something to help you to believe in yourself and in your dreams, because there is a lot of outside influence that's going to tell us, and it does tell us every day, it's not possible, you can't do it, who are you to have these dreams, who are you to think that you can attain that? And we are here to tell you, first off, there are people that are doing it, we are doing it, and the more that you commit to this, the more that you take the action steps, the more that you use these tools, the more it will start to come to you, the quicker it'll start to come to you. And part of it is learning to be in a place of gratitude when you're creating it. So we've talked about the concept of the vision board. So bring me into a little bit more detail. Bring me into a little bit more detail of you're using it and where it's brought you, and sharing the steps with other people so that they can start using it too.
Sure. Well, as you mentioned earlier, using the vision board will not only get you what you want, but it's going to happen quicker. The reason is because we have a vision board, and it's exactly what it means. It's a vision. So you're putting pictures on there. And your brain, as you had mentioned in a couple of your other shows, your brain thinks in pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So when you add a picture of something that you dream of, that you want, you want to make a reality, your brain doesn't know how to tell the difference between reality and conceived reality. And so when you start thinking and putting what you want to manifest into full picture, your brain is like, wow, that's really neat. I really want to do that. For example, if I say the Golden Gate Bridge, you're not probably going to think of G-O-L, the letters. You're going to look at, in your mind, you're going to visualize the Golden Gate Bridge and what it looks like, its color, its shape. And so that's what we want our brain to have. We want our brain to actually have the vision of what you want to manifest.
And tie the senses into it.
Right.
So you're going to have the vision. And so when you said the Golden Gate Bridge, I've been there. Mm-hmm. So it came to my head. And then also about 3 o'clock every day in the afternoon, the fog rolls in. So I could see the fog rolling in. And then I can get the sensation, because the temperature actually
Right.
drops during
Right.
at least 10
A lot.
degrees, I think. Yeah. So I actually have goosebumps right now, because I can get the sensation of it. And the smell that comes from that area down there, too, because they've got all the sea lions
Right.
and everything. So it's got a distinct
Yes,
smell to it.
it does.
A salty kind of shoreline smell. So tying all of those into it and giving your all of your senses and your brain to
Really
create
experience
that
it.
picture.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's not just taking a picture out, slapping it up, and walking away.
No. What you want to do is you're going to want to take pictures that you feel are going to resonate with you. But when you're actually creating your vision board, you need to take time to really get into your real truth self and put things together for yourself. Not what is my mom going to think? What is my best friend going to think? What is my boss going to think? Or what does society think I should do about this?
So your core.
Right.
Your core.
Right. For yourself. Whether it doesn't, whether you think it might be silly, but if you deep down inside you think this is what I really think I want to do, bring it out. And then later on, you need to figure out the whys. Why do I think I want this? And the deeper you get into your true self and your core, it's just gonna all blend in, and you're gonna see amazing results. And sometimes it takes less than a week to see some changes.
Yeah, some people are so good at it that it's instantly.
Yeah, a few
and
days.
I do want to say to be careful, because at this point, one of the things that I've learned for myself is to actually think about the why ahead of time and really get clear on it, because if you don't, this works, okay? So if you're thinking, a golden retriever and you live in a tiny apartment, you could end up with a golden retriever in that tiny apartment.
As my husband says, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Because we had situations like that where something happened. I'm like, I didn't think it was going to occur this quickly.
And why is that statement in our world?
Because it's happened.
Right.
And,
Right. Because there are people out there that recognize that, that it does happen.
Right.
So,
right.
And for years that's been out there. I remember hearing it when I was little, and you still hear it now. There's a reason that it's out there, people. So, I'm going to pull this out so you can use it as an example.
Okay.
This is my vision board from last year in February, so it's time for me to do a new one. We'll put it up here. I'm just going to lean it against you.
Yeah.
So when you say you can take pictures, but I cut them out of a magazine. Is that
That's
how you do it as well?
That's how I do them. That's how I do it. So let's
see. We'll put it here. There we go. Okay. So this is just an idea. Mine was based on different areas of my life.
Right.
Some people, I don't know, is yours more specific?
So, right, mine is more specific. What I do is I like to divide my board into 4 quadrants. And on the very top of my board, I use what's called a soul sentence. And basically, this of course will come after you know what it is that you want and why you want it. And you want to put a sentence up there that's going to ring true to your soul of what you want to get out of this life. What you want to manifest to others, to yourself. So for example, mine is, I want to live my life with passion, radiate with gratitude, and embrace my health. And when I write that up there, everything that comes into the pictures have a little bit to do with, does this go with that sentence? If I make this choice, will it make this sentence feel right for me? And so what I do is I split it up into 4 quadrants, and I have careers, time management, relationships, and finance.
I'm freer than that. I don't want my time to be managed.
And of course, it can be anything. It can be anything.
Yeah,
Which mine has grown. Mine has grown.
I need to do a new one. When you first start doing it, I suggest that you do it more often.
Absolutely, yes.
And then the biggest thing I think that we want to also get across is that when you do it, don't hide it.
Don't
look
hide
at it every day.
Yes.
Like, look at it. So where I was here was in a place of building my confidence and my strength. So I used to run with doubt. Now she can't keep up. Be fearless. Take the reins. Wonder Girls. Nothing to lose. This was where I was a year ago. I had just gotten here. I had a vision of where I wanted to go, which I am living right now. So thank you very much, and more to come. ... So that was one area of it. This was family and friends. This was some of the business area. This was my body, what I was looking for: fit body, 5-year plan, express the power of you. Down here was a little bit about traveling. Here I was looking for a relationship. I had not been in a relationship. So it wasn't specific, like I cut a picture out of a guy with really good abs. But I covered his face because it wasn't about the person in the picture. Again, we're tying it to our feelings related to it, right?
Right. And just to go back to what you were saying, on my health, I put a picture of a woman whose body I just really, really liked. And I put my face on the picture. Yeah. To make it, complete opposite of what you said, because that is what I want for myself.
Yeah, I have a small vision board, and it's got a picture of John Asheroff, Janet Atwood, Bob Proctor, Marcy Shimoff, and they're all in it. And there was a little area, and I put my picture next to it because I want to be in that group, and I will be. So yeah, it's those little things. And then changing this area right here, this quadrant, where I was at this particular point in time, has changed. This was something that I was involved in. So some of the wording is, but not all of it. So it is time for me to update mine.
And you don't want to have it out so that you see this every day and that you change it as you start changing, because you become aware of yourself every day, and what you wanted, 1 month, you may not want the next month. For whatever reasons happen during your month journey, you're going to find, okay, well, you know what, that doesn't really resonate with me as much as I thought it was going to. So you want to start updating these and changing them.
The other thing I think is important too is, and I think I did this myself at the beginning, was I think there's a difference between wishing and dreaming.
Yes.
And when I first started doing it, I was coming from a place of, I'll use the word lack. I'll say that I was lacking. I felt like I was missing something. So I wasn't in a place of gratitude for what I had and where I was. I was in a place of, if I get this, I will feel better.
Oh, okay.
And this is, I think, is a big important thing of the difference between wishing and dreaming. Wishing, we wish for things, I feel anyway, we wish for things because we think that they're going to make us feel better, or I'll be happier, or I'll have more joy. Yes, and you need to find, I believe, happiness and joy and peace where you currently are, and then dream about what you want to bring into that space.
Right. And then one of the differences that I have too with wishing and dreaming, the way I like to think of it is, wishing are things that there's some outer part that you have no control over. For instance, I can say, I wish it would snow. I don't have control of that really if it's going to snow. But anything else, I'm like, that's a dream. You can make it possible. You can make it happen.
Yeah,
that's because
you can end up in Colorado.
Right.
So there's actually so very much to talk about related to vision boards. So I'm going to hope that you come back so that we can talk more about this. But in the meantime, what would you like to leave people with? What action? Give me 3 action steps that people can start with right now for their vision board.
Sure. So take an area of your life that you do not feel it is at its 9 or a 10. There's a reason why it's not a 9 or a 10. Think about what that is, whether it's health, careers, finances, whatever it is. You decide. And then decide, what will it take to make it a 9 or 10? Why isn't it a 9 or a 10? Think of what situation you would be in to make it something that you would be happy with. And then what you need to do is break that main purpose down into little steps of, what 3 little actions can you take to get closer to that goal? For instance, one of my things last year was to run a 5K. What did I have to do? I broke it down. Start running 3 times a week, start eating healthier, and joining a trainer.
And put a picture of you running across the line on your vision board. So again, thank you so much for coming in. I think that the next time we speak, there will be a lot of people that are actually having more come into their life because of you sharing this and going over it with people. So I want you to remember to embrace the journey. Be grateful for what you have right now. Dream for more, because when you do, life becomes amazing. Bye now.